Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. Today we're going to talk about dangers and where your fall points are between sticks, tree stands, and all this stuff. Where that danger zone is, where these bad things can happen to you from, where most commonly these problems occur. So we're going to take a minute and cover that. I'm actually going to set this up so I can set this intro. I'm going to take the stand down. We're going to talk about sticks first. Then we're going to talk about the stands. We're going to talk about all this stuff that's going to matter here and where you really got to pay attention at and how to keep you safe when you're hunting out of a tree stand this year. So, all right, be right back to you in 1 sec. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is dangers that can happen with your climbing sticks. Doesn't matter who makes them, what kind they are, no, none of that matters. But there are some very dangerous spots and things that happen with your climbing sticks. Now, first mistake I see quite often is how I have this stick on here is correct. See, a stick doesn't move. That stick is on there solid, not moving or coming off of there. That is important, okay? Notice that my strap is almost perfectly horizontal while that's set, okay? That's important. You're starting to see a lot of people that run sticks with their straps. They look like this. See that angle? And I'm not exaggerating. That is bad, because see that? See what happens here? See how loose that stick is and what it wants to do? This is not good. I see this a lot with the rope mods. People put rope mods on them and they think, okay, that's going to be good. Yeah, maybe down, maybe that's set and that's not moving, but watch this. As soon as I step on this step, look what just happened. Okay, understand that. So this angle stuff here cannot happen. That's a bad spot. On this step, maybe you have resistance, which you still don't. You can see how easy I can kick that out real easy. This one's probably okay, but as soon as you hit this step and you put pressure on there, you're all right. But it doesn't take much to kick that and swing that right out because that strap is too loose. This strap cannot be on that kind of an angle. That is one of the most dangerous things. That strap needs, you take that stick, you put it on there and you have that stick set good, and you hold the bottom on there, you ratchet it in so that it gets in there good and tight, lock it, push it and lock it, and you want that strap on an angle, then you can set it. Now on here, I cannot, for the life of me, move that, and I couldn't kick it out in any way. That stick doesn't move because that has got the tension between your V brackets correct. Let that strap out some like you see these guys doing, and boom, you're done, okay? So the strap is an important one. Make sure that that strap tension is set correctly. And if you're using rope mods, use them the right way and find a way to get that tight. And if you can't, stop using rope mods, okay? A lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh, that's horrible, don't do that. The rope mods are so light, they work so good. Yes, they do. Use them correctly, okay? If you cannot get them tight where that locks, then find a way to modify your rope setup. Find a way to figure it out, whatever it is. There's a reason that I do not use rope mods, okay? They're not faster, in my opinion, and they're not faster than this, and they're not safer because of that. But if you can get that rope tied tight and keep that nice straight line on there and have that stick welded to that tree, use whatever you want. Rope mods are fine. But if you cannot, go back to a strap and use it the right way. And I'm not taking anything away from you guys using rope mods. I just see way too many setups that with rope mods or daisy chains are incorrect and they are set like this. That is pure danger on every level. Learn to set them correctly. And people are going to say, well, I got all my pressure on there and that's fine. If I put pressure on this, I can still easily, with just one little push forward, you can already see it. It just kicks right out. I mean, I'm just using my hand here. Okay, so just understand that. So that is a big factor right there that you got to pay attention to. Get those straps set horizontal, get them locked in tight, and have them on there so that they're solid and rigid and not moving. Okay, that's an important one. Next one, a lot of guys are using aiders. Aiders are fantastic. I use them as well too. Aiders are a danger point. And I know a lot of people, myself included, think, well, it's down low, so it's not like if I fall, nothing's going to happen. The problem with aiders is I put this up a little higher here so you can see the aider better. So let's stick this up here like so. Now with the aider, this is here, your foot is going to swing around, okay? You have this momentum that's happening here. You're gonna start with your foot against there that way or inside or whatever your method is, but there's a good chance that that foot can swing out. If that foot swings out as you come down, and that thing swings out and you are going to fall, you need to understand, yes, it's a short fall, but as you can see right here, if I have a stick that I already lowered that is laying right down here and I land on any part of this stick, I'm going to get hurt. If my stand, if you're somebody that lowers your stands down, that stand is laying down there, you are going to get hurt landing on this. If this is on your back, when you fall and that aider kicks out and you drop, you are going to get hurt, okay? This is going to hurt your back. That V-bracket could hurt your head. You are going to be in a world of hurt. So the aider factor, yes, they can be good and I love using them, but make sure that there is none of your stuff around the bottom of that tree, okay, that you could fall on and get hurt. Especially an arrow that happened to fall out of the tree that's knocked up and sitting there with a broadhead up. There's so many, these things happen all the time. So make sure you have none of your danger zones anywhere around the base of that tree when you're using aiders, okay? You shouldn't for any reason at all, but still using that aider, that's a dangerous factor kind of thing. And I know a lot of people will also disconnect that lineman belt too, and I do also when I'm on this step, because my attitude is if I fall from here, probably not going to get hurt. But you need to be cautious of these things. These aiders can be a very dangerous scenario because of that swing. You put your foot against there and it may seem like it's holding, the next thing you know it slides out and you are on your back. So aiders are another point of danger. Another thing with the sticks is basically understanding that you still need to use 3 points of contact on this stuff, all right? That's why we use a lineman belt, so you can use your hands free while you're doing stuff. But when you're moving, 3 points of contact. That means a foot here and a hand here and a hand here. Never just 2 points. So everything is always 3 points of contact. So if I lower this down so we can use it better down here and have it in video, when I climb, even on the aider here, when I'm using this aider and I put my foot in there, I need to make sure. See how I have 2 hands on this stick? I have 2 hands of points, 1 point of contact, 1 point of contact, 1 point of contact, and then the other foot can move up to that step. Now before I go from here to remove that foot out of here, I need to regain my 2 points of contact. So right now I have 2 there. I can release 1, grab the tree or the next stick. That gives me a point of contact. Okay, then I can also then move my foot and I still have those 3 points of contact. Now from here, I can grab another one on another stick, but it's always 3 points of contact when you're moving, never just 2. That's very important when you're climbing. Now, transitioning from this step to the next stick, so if you have more sticks on, this is the danger zone of a step system, a stick system. Down here, because of where the strap is, when you start looking into physics, this is a safe place, this is a safe place. This one is above this strap. If you are on a tree with big bark that can break off, things like that, if you have it on too much of an angle like we were just talking about down here, there's a lot of variables that will let that step kick out, okay? If you are stepping on this stick here to get into a stand that's on this side, as you put that pressure and you lean your body like that, when you do that, you are going to cause that step to kick out that way. These are very, very dangerous fail points for your sticks. That is why we teach you guys to put your sticks here, have a stick there, and your stand platform be just below, so that step is a very simple step onto it, not a reach and slide, which is going to cause this stick, could cause that to swing out on you. So sticks are very, climbing up and down, when you're going up and coming down is where the danger happens. Sitting in a stand, sitting there hunting, or standing up to shoot, or any of that stuff you're doing, none of that is really where the danger happens, okay? Most of the falls happen, the transition from the sticks to the stand, which we'll get into the stand in a minute, or climbing up and down. The climbing up and down, stick related, is the stuff we've just been talking about. That is a danger zone on there. Slipping a step when you come down is another one. When you come down, if you don't catch these steps right, you could be in trouble. So if you're looking at this, and we'll put it down a little bit lower here for you again, in here, but if you're coming down, and see how I set that stick? Every single stick has to be done like that. You put a step on, before you start climbing on it, give it a push, give it a set. Put a little muscle in it and set that thing so that it locks in and bites well. But the transition coming down, a lot of people will step on like the buckle like this by mistake. So as they're coming down this tree, when they go to come down, they will hit this, they'll drag their foot to make sure they find that step, and they hit that buckle, they think it's a step, and they'll go to step on it, and then you slide off. Or they come out too far and they catch just the edge, and their foot rolls, like you're seeing mine do, rolls right off that step. You need to be paying attention where that foot is. Make sure it's seated on there firmly before you put pressure. Same thing on this side. As I come down, make sure that foot is seated perfectly on that step. I want to feel this bar on the inside of my foot, that step under it. I want to do a little pressure on it to make sure it's actually the step, and then I'm safe and as I come down. That is vitally important that you do that, because if you don't, good chance you catch the end of that and you fall off of there. So that's basically the stick part of it. And if your spacings are too far from here to your next stick, then what happens too, remember, you're going to be, all your pressure is on this top step. We already talked about swing out problems that can happen. If your stick from here to here, see how that's just about knee high? That's kind of where you want to set them, because the transition from here to here is pretty easy, okay, with them being about knee high or pretty close to. If you start going above this, then what happens is, if this stick was my next one up, to get to that, I got to start doing this. See how I'm leaning away from the tree and I'm doing this? And then when that foot gets on there, it ends up being this weird drawn, look at this angle, this pop and pull, and all this stuff you have to do. That contortion of your body causes pressure on these steps that again could make them swing out. That's where danger happens. So with your sticks, be smart, watch the danger zones, and take your time climbing. Now we're going to get into the stand part of it. All right, now with the stand, before we get into the transitions and stuff, there's a few things with your stand that are important that you pay attention to. Notice the angle of this platform is kind of leaning away from a tree. Take a minute. If your stand doesn't do this, get rid of, sell it and buy one that does. But you want an adjustable platform, okay, where you can set that platform so that you have that leveled out height. You got adjustability in all these, so if the tree leans backwards, whatever, you can see that I can change the angle of this. You want that adjustability. Without it, you know, it's not safe. The reasons it's not safe here, the weight is equally distributed to push these teeth in the back against the tree. If this is set on a wrong angle and it is too far down, it's easier to pivot that off. It's easier to fall off the front. It's important that you have that set right. Now, that's an easy one, okay? The bigger factor are the same thing we talked about with the steps, with your steps, that angle. If this stand is too far down, and I'm going to have to bring it up some so I get away from that, so we'll put it up here for a minute. But if that angle of that strap is like this, which yes, you can see, but if that angle is bad, which I'll spin it around here so you can see it, but if that angle starts to get bad like this stand can very easily, same thing, twist right away, okay? It's not hard for that stand, and you even end up riding your bat wing on your buckles and on your straps, but this is bad. This allows that to very easily tip out and dump you out of it, especially when you're going to do a transition from a step here, lean around to put your foot on there, and you will kick that stand right out like that. That's bad news. Okay, so that angle of this bracket, or this, your strap, very important that you keep that strap at the correct angle. What I like to do is I put it where I want it, I hook it on. See how you still have all this slack in here because it's not fully adjusted? Doesn't matter where it is, maybe it's that far out, but I put my strap around, I lock my strap on, I set this perfect angle just by leaning the bottom of that there, then I'm pulling it in, okay, and I'm tugging it in that way so I get that set like I want, okay. Snug that strap set. Then it's vitally important that you actually set this platform. Right now, still very wobbly, okay, that's not good enough. Doing this, okay, and a little bit, helped a little bit, okay, it's better. The important factor is to set this platform. So if I bring this down lower where you can see it more, let's pull it right down here and set it. so that you can see it better. Let's go right down even lower, just so we're below that strap. So there, so we bring it in, we set that platform on there, okay? There it is. I snug it up as tight as I can, give it a push or a pull, and that's set, right? No, it is not set. That is still dangerous. It needs to be locked in. In order to lock it, I need more weight than I can do with my hand. Some people will do this, and yeah, that makes a difference. Watch when I give this a quick little stomp from the stick. So for that to be that way, let's say we're coming in off of that one, switching these around. So I climb up, okay, I get on here, I lift that seat. First thing I want to do is give that a little pop. Boom, okay, snap that down. With that snap down like that, I now have that thing rock solid. It locks the bat wing in, it locks that in. That stomp, which should not be, notice how far I am stepwise while we're on that subject, how hard this is to come in from here, and how I got to do this weird swing and pivot. This is where those sticks could very easily kick out on me. So this is a danger, especially if I was on the top of that step. So this is bad. You actually want that stick set so that you are going to come in more of this kind of angle, like this, that's set. You want this where I'm going to come in right here and I can work it very easily. But notice how I'm not leaning way out and fighting to get there. But once you get here, give it a good pop right on the back, not out here, right here at the base of that seat post. Give it a snap and seat that. With that seated in, that stand now not moving. And it's important when you do it, take a look and make sure that bat wing is locked in tight to that tree. At least 2 teeth locked into that tree. Make sure the back of this is set on there perfect. With that set, that stand is now very stable, okay? Can't really fight it too much. But now it brings us to our next one. The end of the stand is your danger zone. When you're back here by the seat post and you're standing here, you're pretty safe. You don't have as much movement here. Watch the stand. When I'm back here, that's stable, okay? Not moving too much. You get out here, which I don't want to really, I'm going to do this just a little, but out here, look at the difference. See that wobble? See that wiggle around? See here? Nothing, I'm not moving much. Here, just a little bit's all it takes. That could kick that stand out if it wanted to. So that's something you need to take into consideration. It's also why a lot of them give you a bottom strap on here so you can tighten that down. But the outside of that stand is that danger zone. If you're out here, it's much more wobbly and there's a chance of something kicking out. Now if you have this seated correctly, odds are pretty slim that it's going to kick out on you, but that is a danger zone spot you need to look for. All right, we're going to be right back. I'm going to reframe this a little bit here for you. All right, I have this reframed and reset up. Now this is what you want for safely transitioning from the sticks to your stand. This is a very important transition here. This is where the majority of tree stand accidents happen. Again, if your stick is too far over here and you have to swing around a step on there, that's a danger zone. You're going to fall. You're going to have a problem. You want that stick close to it so that it's kind of a 45 or 90 degree. You want to be in close with the stick as you can to that stand so that that transition is very simple, okay? Not something you have to swing around a tree. Also, it's ideal to have that platform just below that top step, so, or at least level with or not much higher with. I know some people want to get the maximum distance, and I'm not trying to take any of that away from you. But if you start putting this platform up here and you have to make that transition and you got to start doing that, and then to go into that stand, there's a good chance you're going to kick that stand out as you do. So you want it set like this, and again, before you get into that stand, you have to lock it. Set that stand, pop, locked in. But then you want this transition to be a step down where before I even remove that off there, I can put pressure on either one to make sure they're both stable and safe, and then I can very easily transition the weight off of this step. I'm not having to jump to the stand to do it. It's a very easy transition, and if there was a problem with this stand after I set it, I could very easily transition back to the stick if I needed to. So that is that safety zone that you're looking for that transfer. If this stand were up here, I don't have any of that. I've lost all that safety net trying to make that happen. So very important that you make that transition smooth. Same with coming out of the stand. As I go to transition to that stick, I need that safety factor of making sure that that weight is supported before I lift this weight, coming in slow and easy, making my very simple transition. All right, UPS is here. We'll be right back. Hang on, I gotta go get a package. All right, one more thing I want to mention about the stick before I transition you actually off the main camera to my phone for some close-up stuff is the angle, okay? Now this tree is not set up good for this to show that, but on the angle of your tree, if this tree were leaning backwards this way, if it leaned back so that your platform was like this, when you're on there, it's pretty okay, and it's a lot safer scenario. You can get away with it, but if it starts to lean too far back, there's a good chance that stand can roll when your feet are on here and cause you problems. Same thing with if that stand, you were on a tree that leaned the opposite way down like this. With those types of trees, you being on here and that tree leaning, it wants to pull the bracket away by gravity. As that does, it leaves a chance for that stand to kick out on you and cause you problems. So you have to be careful with the degree of lean and what you're doing with that. It's important that you pay attention to that and try to set up accordingly and correctly, and pay attention to what's happening and make sure that stand is set right. Avoid those trees, especially when they lean too far this way. They are a danger zone because gravity wants to pull that away. If the tree leans too far back, you get out on the edges, that thing starts wobbling way too much, can be dangerous. So you got to pay attention to those zones. Use your alignment belt and your safety harness and your alignment belt and your tether too. I see a lot of people that are using the same alignment belt, and then when they get in a stand are using it to connect to the tree. That is not correct. Okay, I've done videos on this. You want to be using your alignment belt all the way up, and then when you get to here and you have that stand hung, before you make that transition, you need to either make the transition from stick to stand wearing your alignment belt or wearing your safety tether. Something has to be connected. And then when you do not disconnect this alignment belt without connecting that one first. Hey, how you doing? And if you don't have that connected on there, then you're going to be even in more trouble. That's going to be a bad place to be at. So it's important that you make that transition safely. And in order to do it, alignment belt, and you also have to have the safety harness on, or the safety tether connected. You cannot disconnect the alignment belt till the tether's on. When you're coming down, you do not disconnect the tether till the alignment belt's on. Straight up safety. All right, I'm going to go ahead real quick, and I want to transition to my phone so I can show you some close-up details. Be right back. Okay, now let's look at this scenario because this is all too common. Okay, even if you think you said it right, once you put some weight on the platform, you end up with a scenario like this where that bat wing is not actually contacting the tree. Imagine how easy with that scenario is when it's like that, that it is for this whole stand to just spin right out. Okay, if that bat wing is not connected properly and it is sitting like that, even like that, where it is not connected in well, there is a very good odds of that stand just flipping right out on you. So that's the reason we set that. But I see a lot of times somebody will set that, but then the strap will have, there was brush behind here. If there was a branch, something that's going to give a little cushion to this and let it pull in, you end up with that scenario. If you are in that scenario, you need to get off this stand immediately until it's set. You cannot hunt with this. This will not be safe. Any step on the outside of that platform will swing that stand right out. Look at how easy that stand can be thrown around that tree. Look at that. I mean, there's nothing to it. That strap does not do it. You need to seat that bat wing. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're on an offset tree and you're using these two teeth, or if you're on the, using a center two, or what it is, but two teeth have got to be locked into that tree. The only way to do that is to put your foot on here and give a good stomp that will actually seat that. I'm going to try this with one hand to show you. Hang on, I want to make sure I'm doing it safe as I'm doing it. So you put it on and you think you got it set as best you can. You pull down on this, see how it's kind of creaking in there. Now let me show you what happens here. So I'm going to do this here again safely. So now let's pull this out a little bit. Watch what happens when I put some weight on that. Let me get set. Okay. Watch that bat wing when I step on the stand. Oh, look at pulled away from the tree. Look at how unsafe that is and how I can move that everywhere. See that stand wobbling, rocking? That is an unsafe scenario. Look, you can see it starting to tip towards me. That is not set. That is very dangerous. The only thing holding that is the strap. See, I can just wiggle my foot and move that whole thing. To set that, you are going to stomp right here before you get off of that stick. Now watch that bat wing when I stomp there. Okay, now it is set in. Look, I can't move that stand now. It's locked in. It's important that you set that, even if I'm out here on the end. See how it doesn't move? Won't budge. It is set in there. Lock that stand by giving that stomp. Hang on, coming back down. That stomp right here is what sets those teeth in and makes that lock in. And that gives that stand that stability and doesn't let it get away from you. You can't really, I can push it, but I can't push it out because those teeth are biting in. That is the important part. So make sure you have that set right. Now notice my angle is getting a little crazy here. I would normally not like that angle. It's still set up from when we were doing that demonstration. You want that angle more straight across as best you can so it's locked in there. Because right now you can see how that's there? I would actually lock this and pull that in. I can't do it one-handed, but I would get that so that there isn't that option. Here, I would tighten that up so that that pulls that right in like that. So, but there you go. That basically is showing you how to safely hunt out of a tree stand and sticks and make those transitions and avoid those danger zones. Those danger zones are where 99% of accidents happen and falls happen. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you stay safe. And don't forget, there is in the description down there, and you see it on my screen, check out my bow hunting whitetails course. Thing is, it's got to be 28 hours long. The most informative bow hunting information you'll ever find in one place. Guaranteed to make you a much better bow hunter, and it's only 75 bucks still. So check it out, and thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.